companies that are launching their first product, they've been focused on clinical outcomes, and they've spent a lot of money on clinical trials and on analyzing the data around their clinical trials. But when they get to a point where they realize they're going to commercial this product shortly, they've got to quickly pivot to be ready as a commercial company and put in place the processes and the people to launch that product and meet the needs of the market. So it's usually a real inflection point for companies, and it's really important for them to quickly put the processes and capabilities in place so that they can take advantage of all the work they've done in the clinic. It's important for companies as they make that change from a clinical stage to a commercial stage to be very deliberate about it and to understand what processes need to be put in place. Quite often, they'll have folks that have been focused on the development of the products try to do that, and they struggle with that because that's not where they've been trained, and it's not the processes they're used to. So I've seen the companies that are deliberate about it and really understand how important that change is to them are the ones that are most successful. Supply chains are getting more and more complex. You have products like complex vaccines, antibiotic drug conjugates that are, their supply chains are really complex because you've got, different materials coming in and coming together, cell and gene therapy processes like that. So there's a lot of risk out there. There's risks of not having the right raw materials when you need them. There's the risks of missing your forecast and not having important drugs go to people that need them. So there's a lot of risks along the way, and it's just so hard to manage those risks if you're doing it manually and you're not doing it with really solid processes that are accurate and that are a single point of truth. We see a lot with manual processes where departments and supply chains build too much capacity, or they don't build enough capacity, and they keep product inventory at all levels of the supply chain, and it's really inefficient. And really understanding when they need to place orders, when their suppliers need information, when they need to release things is really important, and that's what successful companies are doing today. So number one is people. You don't have to bring in a lot of people, but you've got to bring in people that have experience in supply chain. The logistics, the planning piece, the forecasting piece, the handshake between demand planning and supply planning are very complicated processes, and it's really important to have the right people that have the right capabilities. Quite often we advise companies not to go into huge ERP programs right away, but put processes in place that will, get them, the points on the board early. Our planning system, which is called SCmple, really offers that because it's easy to deploy, it's cost effective, and it's intuitive. So it can be put into a company and be really adding a very important process without actually going to these big, larger, comprehensive ERP solutions, which some of these companies will eventually go to. But at launch, it's so chaotic and it's so important to get things right that you really want your people focused on the right things and not be deploying a really more cumbersome system. We're a technology partner with TraceLink. We've had a long relationship with TraceLink and really very, very bullish on the innovation and the creative work they've done in the industry. We are very excited about what Mint has to offer, very complementary to what we're doing. We've got a kind of a shirt sleeve planning solution that is that needs information from a lot of pieces of the supply chain, and Mint can provide that information link And not only that, Mint can also integrate with suppliers and communicate with suppliers. And so it's that piece that we're missing. So now we've got a really great tool that supply chain professionals can utilize and really count on, but it's also got that integrated supply chain piece to it with Mint that is very complementary, and we see great things happening with our partnership with TraceLink. Certainly communication with suppliers. It's people are using emails, and there's probably a few fax machines out there still. There's it's a very manual process the way people communicate today, and people are sending spreadsheets to each other, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I sent you the wrong spreadsheet, let me send you another one. And it's just ripe for errors. It's ripe for inaccuracies. People do things like add inventory just as a safety net, which is costly and not the best practice in this business. So by having a single source of truth, having a system that everybody's familiar with, having it integrate with your suppliers and some of the crucial processes within your company, it just really creates a much more accurate and cost-effective environment.